Page 159, 159, Targeting Math, Workbook 4. We're going to work with teachers, so you take out your pencil, copy the annotations. Alright, let's look at this line graph. We can see that on the x-axis, which is here, this shows a scale. And this scale shows the length of the cloth in meters. And this scale here, which is the y-axis, shows the cost of each amount of cloth sold in dollars. Let's look at each space on the line graph. We can see that this starts at 0. One space is a value of 6. So I can say that one space has a value of 6. What does this represent? From here to here is taking up half of one space. So it's half of a space. If one space is 6, then half of one space is 6 divided by 2, which is 3. This is 3. It's an increase in value of 3. So what this means is this starts at 0. So 0 plus 3 will give you 3. 3 plus 3 will give you 6. 6 plus 3 will give you 9. Then 9 plus 3 will give you 12. And 12 plus 3 will give you 15. And 15 plus 3 will give you 18. So every interval, every yellow interval, will be an increase of 3. Question A. How much does 6 meter of cloth cost? We look at where is 6 meter. Here. So I will draw a line from 6 meter. I draw it up until I touch the line graph. After I have touched the line graph, I need to draw it to across to touch the scale. So I have found that 6 meter of cloth cost $18. So how much does 6 meter of cloth cost? It is $18. At question B, Mrs. Tay pays $36. How many meters of cloth does she get? Now you know the price, which is the cost. Let's look at the scale on the cost. This is the scale of the cost. And we know she pays $36. So on this scale, where is 36? Here. So we want to find this $36 can buy Mrs. Tay how many meters of cloth? To find that, we draw the line from $36. We draw it across until we touch the line graph. After we have touched the line graph, we want to find the length of the cloth. So we draw it downwards until we touch the scale for the length of the cloth. So we found that with $36, Mrs. Tay can buy 12 meters of cloth. Question B. How many meters of cloth does she get if she pays $36? She can get 12 meter of cloth if she pays $36. Let's look at question C. Madam Aisha pays $15. How many meters of cloth does she get? So $15 is the cost. So let's look at the scale for the cost. She paid $15. Let's find where is 15. 15 is here. We want to find how much length can she get if she pays $15. We'll draw a line across until I touch the line graph. Use a ruler for this. Draw a straight line until you touch the line graph. I want to find the length of the cloth, so I have to draw a line downwards to touch the scale for the length of the cloth. I have touched the length of the cloth scale. So this amount, this question mark, is the length that she can get if she pays $15. So let's find out what is this question mark. From here to here, there is 2 spaces. So I can say that 2 spaces represents a value of 2. So which means that 1 space represents the value of 1. What does this mean? It means that every line here is an increase of 1. So that means here it's 0. 0 plus 1 is 1. 1 plus 1 is 2. 2 plus 1 is 3. 3 plus 1 is 4. 4 plus 1 is 5. So we have found that the question mark represents 5. So let's answer the question. Madam Aisha pays $15 and she can get, if she pays $15, she can get 5 meter of cloth. The answer is 5 meter. Let's look at question D. How much does 9 meter of cloth cost? How much represents the cost? How much does 9 meter of cloth cost? Let's find where is 9 meter on the line graph. We know that this is the length. So let's start with this scale. 9 will be here. This is 9. So to find how much does 9 meter cost, I have to draw a line to touch the line graph. So I draw a straight line up to touch the line graph. I have to draw a line across to find out the cost of 9 meter. And I have touched the scale. To buy 9 meter of cloth, I have to pay this amount. This question mark. Let's find out what is this question mark. To find the question mark, we know that 1 space is 6 and half of the space is 3. So half of the space is here. This yellow arrow is half of the space. So half of the space is an increase in value of 3. So from 24, I add 3 to find out the question mark. So 24 plus 3 is 27. So the question mark is 27. Every yellow arrow is an increase by a value of 3 for this line graph. So now let's answer the question. How much does 9 meter of cloth cost? 9 meter is here. So the cost of it is 27. So we have found the answer to be 27. Question E. Mrs. Bala buys 8 meter more cloth than Mrs. Tan. How much more does Mrs. Bala pay for her cloth than Mrs. Tan? 8 meters more is bought by Mrs. Bala. We want to find how much more does Mrs. Bala pay for her 8 meter extra cloth. So Mrs. Bala buys 8 meters more. So how much does that 8 meter of cloth cost? What is the cost of it? So let's look at the line graph. How much does 8 meter cost? So let's see, where is 8 meter on the line graph? This is 8 meter. So I draw a line up until I touch the line graph. Then I draw a line across to find out what is the cost of 8 meter of cloth. So the 8 meter of cloth cost $24. So that means if Mrs. Bala wants to buy 8 meter more, meaning she has to pay more, and she has to pay $24 more than Mrs. Tan. So $24 is what she has to pay extra more than Mrs. Tan. Alright, we have come to the end for page 159. Now you play the next video for page 162, Work with Teacher.